Imagine a world gripped by fear where every breath could be your last. The year is 1347, a time when Europe was thriving yet vulnerable. A terrible plague emerges from the east, spreading like wildfire. It travels along trade routes, silently striking cities and towns, leaving devastation in its wake. People whisper of a mysterious illness, one that defies understanding. They speak of swift death and unimaginable suffering as loved ones fall ill and perish within days. No one knows how to stop it, and helplessness spreads as fast as the disease. This is the story of the Black Death, one of the deadliest pandemics in human history, a true nightmare. The plague was like a monster, invisible and relentless, sparing no one. It spared no one, rich or poor, young or old. People were terrified, living in constant dread. They believed it was a punishment from God, a divine retribution for their sins. Others blame foreigners or the stars, seeking answers in superstition and fear. The Black Death first appeared in Europe on ships arriving from the Black Sea, bringing with them an unseen terror. These ships carried more than just goods. They carried infected rats, which would soon become the harbingers of doom. The rats carried fleas, and these fleas carried the deadly plague, a disease that would change the course of history. The fleas jumped from rats to humans, spreading the disease with alarming speed, leaving no one safe. From the bustling port cities, the plague spread like wildfire, decimating populations. It moved inland along rivers and roads, reaching even the most remote villages. The disease was highly contagious, causing widespread panic and fear. People living in close quarters were especially vulnerable, with entire families falling ill. Within a few years, the Black Death had ravaged the entire European continent, leaving a trail of devastation and altering the social fabric forever. The symptoms of the Black Death were horrifying. Victims suffered from agonizing headaches and fevers. Swollen lymph nodes called buboes appeared on their necks, armpits, and groins. These buboes oozed pus and caused excruciating pain. As the disease progressed, victims experienced vomiting and diarrhea. Their skin turned black from internal bleeding. Most people died within days of showing symptoms. The stench of death filled the air. Mass graves were dug to accommodate the dead. Doctors were helpless against the Black Death. They had no understanding of its cause or how to treat it. Desperate people turned to ineffective remedies and superstitious practices. They wore amulets, burned incense, and flagellated themselves. Some believed the plague was spread by bad air. They wore beak-like masks filled with sweet-smelling substances. Others thought they could cure the disease by bloodletting or lancing the buboes. These methods often did more harm than good. Black Death had a profound impact on Europe, altering the course of history in ways that are still felt today. It killed an estimated 25 million people, nearly a third of the population, leaving entire communities decimated. The massive loss of life led to labor shortages, economic decline, and social upheaval, as the very fabric of society was torn apart. People abandoned their homes and villages, desperate to escape the plague, creating ghost towns across the continent. The Black Death forced people to confront their mortality, leading to widespread fear and panic. It challenged religious beliefs and led to new ways of thinking about life and death as people sought answers in a time of crisis. The pandemic had a lasting impact on art, literature, and medicine, inspiring works that reflected the grim reality of the times. It serves as a stark reminder of the devastating power of infectious diseases and the importance of public health measures which began to take shape during this period. The Black Death ultimately transformed Europe, paving the way for the Renaissance and the modern era as society rebuilt itself from the ashes.